I was born, I was born opposite Five Dock Bowling Club, and my mother and father, they rented 2 Augusta Street, Five Dock, which is still there, and to help. Who was that, love? Who was that?
Trevor.
Oh yeah, to help pay for the rent. You know that Annie and Izzy live with us.
Oh, okay.
Henry Carpen.
Yeah.
The girl at your school. He was her uncle, I think.
Uncle, yeah.
Yeah, and he, not my mother, not my father, but he gave me the love of learning and education.
Ah.
Yeah.
The Jewish thing.
The Jewish thing. It
Yep.
is.
Yep.
And he used to buy me until I left high school. He bought me these books. They used to be called the Collins's Encyclopedia, but they were like a book with about 500 pages.
Yeah, wow.
And I used to go through, and of course when we grew up, we were all Anglophiles. You know, Anglophiles.
Yep.
We loved the Brits.
Yep.
And the most interesting thing was in, I think it was June 1953, when I was doing the leaving, they had an assembly bell rang, and that meant we had to go down to the assembly.
Yep.
And we went down to the assembly, and then there was a new principal that year called Shaw, Graham Shaw, and he got in the hall, and he spoke at the top of his voice, and he said, "Gentlemen," because we were all gentlemen.
Yeah.
"Gentlemen, Everest has been climbed.
Oh, wow.
3 cheers for the British Empire." Us, and we did. We meant it.
Yeah,
Meant it.
From here. Hands across the chest.
And he just spoke without a microphone too.
Yeah. But
Everest has been climbed.
yeah, by Hillary. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From New Zealand.
From New Zealand. But the interesting thing about that was that going back to Uncle Izzy, I don't know why we called him Uncle Izzy, but he was called Izzy. All right, as you know, Annie and he split up, and my mother always told me, well, right up into your mother's time, when we were married, that the number of abortions, illegal abortions, she did to get rid of Izzy's kids. I don't know any more than that.
That your mother did or that Annie did?
No, Annie did.
Yeah, okay.
My mother got her into Bath and
Yeah.
did all that in the bath.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
But anyway, the books that he used to give me, and I used to go through them, and one of the major things I looked at, I thought, this is just wonderful, it was the Forth Bridge. You know the Forth Bridge?
I don't know the Forth Bridge.
The Forth Bridge is
That's in Scotland.
in Scotland, the Cantilevered Bridge.
Yes.
Now they don't call it the road bridge, they don't call it the railway bridge, they just call it the Forth Bridge. And I've got banknotes, Scottish banknotes.
Oh, you've showed me that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Anyway, that was one. And then you'd turn over the page, and it'd have the London Underground, and then turn over a few more pages, and it had it was called the Rose Red City of Petra.
In Jordan.
Yeah. And I said to myself when I was a kid, gee, one of these days I'd like to go there. And then of course Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came.
Yep.
And then I had my 70th birthday. You'd have been there. 70th birthday over at East Ryde.
Okay.
And I said to them, there's something I always wanted to do, and that's go to Petra, Jordan, Egypt, so on.
Yep.
And 13 people took up the challenge and came with us.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Yeah, Laurie Crowe.
you did.
Laurie Crowe and Trevor and Helen. Helen and Trevor have been 7 holidays overseas or in Australia with us.
Oh wow.
Big holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so when I went to Petra, we went to Dubai, and then we went from Dubai to Egypt, and then Cairo was just gobsmacking, Cairo, my God, the traffic is so bad that they had to take the lights away
Yeah.
because people wouldn't
Obey them.
obey them, so they found it was easier
To have no lights.
if they have no lights at
Yeah.
all. Well, you can imagine what the traffic's like in Egypt, in Cairo. I mean.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did the whole bit right up to Aswan. When you did art history originally, the pictures of what's just the emperor Ramesses,
Oh, okay.
Ramesses III, and Imhotep,
Yeah.
and the temple of Hatshepsut. All those things we saw, and they were just mind-bending, weren't they, love? And then we flew on there to Jordan, and we went to Amman, and then we went right down the Jordan River. Yeah.
By boat?
No, by car.
Yeah.
On one side of the river's Israel,
Ah.
and the other side of the river's
Egypt.
no, Jordan.
Oh yeah, Jordan. Sorry.
So that's when your mother went into the Red Sea, the Dead Sea,
The Dead Sea.
and got all black all over it.
With all this stuff.
Ah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a salt.
Oh, all that, yeah.
Minerals.
Yeah, so
And you have to walk in backwards into the sea because of the salt. You can only float. You can't.
Ah.
and then the whole of the Petra Valley was originally the Nabateans were people that were contemporary with Rome, and they lived there, and that was one of their temples. And you're outside, and you go through what's called the Siq, S-I-Q, and it's a long, narrow passageway. You've seen the Temple of Doom, have you? No.
I might have seen. I don't really.
Indiana Jones.
I'm familiar with it, but I've never really. I don't think I've ever watched it all the way through. I've just seen bits of it.
Well, it comes on frequently.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you get, and outside was where they sell all the tourist stuff, like anything, including a whole shop just devoted to selling Indiana Jones hats.
Yeah.
And then you walk through the Siq, and you turn a corner, and there it is. It's amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So what's your top three? Like, so is Petra in your top three of places you've
probably,
visited?
Probably Machu Picchu.
That in Peru?
In Peru, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
And the Fourth Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Fourth Bridge. But that's because of the personal memories
Oh, yeah.
All the
associated.
learning.
Yeah, we did a wonderful week's holiday on a canal boat with friends of Tony's, actually.
Yeah.
It's sure it's Peter and Mary House.
But then you obviously went up to Scotland as well.
Yes, we
Yeah.
That was on another
we
trip.
beat as far as Inverness.
Oh, the sky.
Skye.
Edinburgh.
Oh, we beat at Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Glasgow. Was it Glasgow?
Yeah, we beat at Glasgow. And then the following year, we went back in 2001, and it was the 9/11.
Oh.
And we left Sydney 3 days after 9/11.
Oh, so you had no trouble flying out?
No, but all the Australians were there, but the Americans weren't on the plane.
Oh, okay. They weren't allowed to fly.
Well, it's not they weren't allowed to fly, they were too
Advised.
scared.
Yeah. Advised not
Too
to.
scared to.
Yeah.
The funny part about it is that we got to London and I think we did a trip to Cornwall. We saw like where Bernard Leach and Stives and Barbara Hepworth.
Okay. Potters.
Well, Barbara Hepworth was a sculptor with Henry Moore.
Ah. Okay.
We actually visited her studio. And
Bernard Leach was a potter.
yeah, that's correct.
He was like revived the whole interest in pottery, didn't he?
He and Shorty Hamada.
Yeah.
Great Japanese spotter.
Mm.
And we were at the Sives, then we came back to London, and then we had 17 days in France, 17 days in Spain.
Yeah, wow.
And the channel had only been open about less than a year.
The road under the channel.
Yeah. Because there's only a train, there's no road.
Oh, it's only a train.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you wouldn't believe it, but we're right underneath the English Channel, and the train stopped and the lights went out. You could hear everyone screaming, and then the voice came on and said, "It's all right, this is a temporary failure, blah, blah, blah." So we got to Paris, and you know, there was no what do you call it? Security.
No security.
No security at all.
Yeah.
Because you just walked out of the garden door and back in again. And there's all the big signs around fountains. They won't tell you this. The fountains in Paris saying good on basically good on Ben Laden, you know.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Was that who was?
Americans, you don't realise how bad the Americans are hated.
Yeah.
And then we came back when we did the Spanish trip. We flew. We were flying Cathay. We flew back in the Stanley markets. I could have bought.
Hong Kong.
I could have bought Ben Laden T-shirts for about $2, giving him a big, you know.
Thumbs up.
You didn't realise how much the Americans were hated.
Yeah, right.
My father wouldn't let me buy a T-shirt. He said they wouldn't let us back into Australia.
If I'd have bought a T-shirt,
Yeah.
John Howard would have thrown me in the jail.
They were wonderful T-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, collector's items.
Yes. So there's just some trips we've been to.
Yeah.
We've been to Asia. We've been to Singapore about 5 times.
Yeah.
Hong Kong about 5 times. I used to have all my shirts when I was at Birrong. I used to get all my shirts made by Albert
Chan.
Chan in Kowloon. We'd fly up there and get the shirts, and been to Malaysia, Sarawak, Borneo, yeah.
Oh, Borneo.
Yeah, been there, yeah.
What's
Seen
Borneo
all
like?
the orangutans,
Oh wow.
yeah. You didn't realise?
Alright. I'll take a break from filming.
Yeah, okay, I'm just having